It's been 4 long years, but I'm happy to say there's going to be a big change in the White House. That's right, the office of the White House pet has been vacant for 4 years. Can you imagine? What is this, the James K. Polk presidency? But this January, we're going to get not one, but two fellow puppers at 1600 Pennsylvania, a pair of German shepherds named Champ and Major. There's also reports that they might be adding a cat in attempts to try to unify the nation. So today let's talk about the pets that grace the Oval Office. This is History Hound Presents Presidential Pets.
Thanks, Burns. Nice tie. We'll get back to you a little later. Bernie and I have been talking about this for some time, and we've picked 5 presidential pets who have graced the White House. So in no particular order, here we go. Andrew Jackson's wife, Rachel, owned an African gray parrot named Pole. When she died just a month before he was inaugurated, President's $20 bill became his sole caretaker. Thing is, Pole had a very interesting quirk. The parrot swore like President Jackson, who he likely picked up the habit from. The poor bird outlived the president, who died in 1845. According to Reverend William Menifee Norman, who presided over Jackson's funeral, Pole had to be removed from the funeral because it simply would not stop swearing. The Reverend said that mourners were, quote, horrified and awed at the bird's lack of reverence.
Calvin Coolidge is my favorite president. Not because of his stance on laissez-faire economics or his support of smaller government, but rather because he had 9 dogs in the White House. 9! That's like a Supreme Court worth of dogs. It's not just dogs, though. He had a bunch of cats, several birds, and some more exotic pets, including a pair of tigers named Tax Reduction and Budget Bureau. They also took care of a raccoon named Rebecca. This after Mrs. Coolidge saved her from being part of Thanksgiving dinner at what might be the first instance of a Thanksgiving pardon. Mrs. Coolidge built a treehouse for Rebecca, who lived there with another raccoon named Reuben, who ran away. After the Coolidges left office in 1929, Herbert Hoover's pet possum, Billy Possum, took up residence in the White Treehouse.
The year is 1861, and President-elect Abraham Lincoln just gave his inaugural speech. Fido, Lincoln's dog, is listening to John E. Roll reading a translated Morse code strip of Lincoln's speech. Fido was given to the Lincoln family when Tad and Willie were born. When Lincoln went to the barber shop, Fido would wait outside for his master. When Lincoln was elected, Fido, who was scared of loud noises, cowered from the crowd and was left in the care of Roll in Springfield. When Lincoln died, Fido remained in John A. Roll's care. He went to Lincoln's estate funeral, where he was a source of comfort for the mourners, some saying that petting Fido made them feel a connection with their fallen leader. 1 year later, dear Fido would meet his similar fate of his former master. He was stabbed by a drunk man named Charlie Plank. While some reports say that the attack was an accident, it doesn't change the fact that poor Fido was murdered. Prior to Fido, which is Latin for faithful, the most common name for a dog was Tippet. It was Lincoln's famous dog who led the name to be synonymous with loyal dogs.
Every political scholar worth his salt, pepper, and cardamom would tell you that there was a moment when we learned that TV would have a huge role in politics. This was, of course, Richard Nixon and his checkers speech. What, did you think I was going to talk about the Nixon-Kennedy debates? Checkers wasn't in that, was he? Anyway, during the 1952 presidential election, Richard Nixon had been chosen by Dwight D. Eisenhower as his running mate. This was eventually met with great controversy when it was revealed that Nixon had a political fund funded by backers, and he was accused by giving these backers special treatment. The future president turned to the TV where he gave a very passionate speech about his background of being a man of modest means and that the donors to his political funds received no favors. He did say that the only gift he would be keeping was a cocker spaniel that his daughters had taken to liking to named Checkers. Eisenhower would go on that year to win, and the impassioned speech was referred to as the Checkers speech. Nixon would later go on to win the presidency in 1968, but sadly, Checkers never made it to the White House. He died in 1964. Can we stop talking about dead dogs now? It's kinda creeping me out.
Sure thing, buddy. The last presidential pet on our list is William Howard Taft's cow, Pauline Wayne. Miss Wayne, as she was sometimes called, was actually the second of the Taft's presidential bovines. The first, Wooly Bully, had died of oat poisoning. Miss Wayne was a prize dairy cow and provided the White House an average of 8 gallons of milk per day. Guests of the White House could purchase small bottles of presidential milk for just 50 cents. Miss Wayne was a popular figure of the Taft presidency and would frequently travel the country, going to dairy shows and state fairs. However, it was a faithful fit to the International Dairymen's Expo in Milwaukee when she went missing. Just didn't show. What happened? Was she kidnapped? Assassinated? Was she a secret double agent reporting for her handler? The truth was that a careless railway workers accidentally switched the train car she was traveling in, diverted it to an unknown location. White House employees frantically tried to find the beloved cow, having little leads to go on. White House staff broadcast missing cow reports in hopes that something would come up. 2 days passed before the investigation finally bore fruit. Miss Wayne's train car had been diverted to a slaughterhouse. That's right. The President of the United States' beloved pet cow had been delivered to the doorstep of a slaughterhouse. The White House staff had found Miss Wayne just in time. They were saving her from, quote, the bludgeon of the slaughter. I can only imagine the list of people who were fired for that one. Yeah, that's a true story. No bull.
Well, hounds, those were some interesting pets to be sure. I, for one, thought the story of Taft's cow was particularly exciting. Join us next week for a video that will live in infamy. You've been watching History Hound. We'll see you in history.